Hi, this is Curious Mystics Podcast. Together we explore the mysteries of the spiritual world, sometimes boldly,
sometimes cautiously,
but always with open hearts
and curious minds.
See you soon. Hello, and welcome back. It's Erica.
Yes. And Kim.
We are doing it this lovely morning.
How is your morning going today?
Not bad. I worked at the hospital yesterday, and every time I do that, I'm just like, the next day. And it was super busy, per usual. But no, it was good. I'm good this morning. How about you?
Good. I'm doing okay. I feel like there's this weird, I don't know, strange energy. Maybe not a strange energy, but like a lack of, like everything just feels depressed or heavy. But, it could just be the time of year. Who knows?
Yeah, maybe. So I've been trying to every morning, and I just did a very brief one this morning, be very mindful of what I'm doing in the morning. So like all last week, I was doing like some sort of spirit work. Like I was doing some sort of connection, thinking. I was pulling cards. I was doing a bunch of divination, which was like on point, very interesting, and what's the word? Not helpful, but like helpful. Insightful is the word I'm looking for. So I was feeling really good about that. This morning I didn't get up in time to do that, but I did do just in my tea or my coffee, just stirred a little spell into it or whatever, a little intention into it, put some cinnamon in there. So I'll be very mindful.
I think sometimes that can make like a huge difference in just how you start your day, especially when you're being so purposeful about it. I have and I think we've talked about this before, I have the things that I do every morning, which are always short and easy to access, but sometimes they're like super duper short and it's just like, hey, I just want this to work out. And then other times it could be a little bit more expansive, and yeah, it always kind of helps to guide the start of my day.
Yeah, I really liked it because, like I said, it was very insightful, and then also I just felt like grounded and connected. I'm still trying to figure out how to put the ancestors into that. So I think what I'm going to try to do is do the full moon, the new moon, and just kind of start there as like a starting point. Because, we talked about in our ancestor episode about kind of incorporating that on a daily basis. But I think I'm going to try to start that part of my practice on the new moon, which is in a couple of days, a week from now, something like that.
It's today.
Oh, there you go. I'm going to start today.
You're going to start today.
I am starting today.
That's a good reminder.
You know what I need to do is I really need to write stuff like that stuff on my calendar. And then that way I'm more mindful. I'm not just like, oh my gosh, today is blah, blah, blah. And I'm like rushing to get what I want to do done. So
yeah, I definitely I pay attention to it more. And I mean, I'm always paying attention to the sky. Fun fact, the Orionid meteor shower that we go through every, 60 years or so, we are going through currently. And last night into this morning, midnight to 3 a.m. was the peak of it. But it goes until, I think, the 28th or 29th. So till next week or the week after. So if you go out after midnight and look up to wherever Orion, the constellation is, you should be able to see meteors.
Nice.
So yeah, I tend to pay attention to when the new moon is or when the full moon is. It also happens that there's a lot of feminine cycles linking up in this household around the new moon. So I happen to be very attuned to that.
That's funny. Yeah. That's awesome. So I'm going to hopefully, it's been kind of rainy. So hopefully we can see it.
Yeah, last night was supposed to be a clearer night, but it ended up being a little cloudy, so it wasn't a good view.
we always have difficulty seeing stuff in the night sky because of all of our trees. So I kind of miss some of those things, but I'll see. We'll try it.
I know. I'm like trying to get. I mean, I go to bed super early, but I'm trying to get the energy to get like some of the people in my house to get in the car and go somewhere that we could see it more clearly.
Oh, that'd be fun.
Yeah,
That'd be fun.
that would be ideal.
All right. So today is we're talking about another vortex. We're talking about another vortex. If I can talk, we're talking about, this was kind of a fun one. I was like, ooh, one, had never heard of it, and two, it's got some interesting stuff to it. It's Mount Kailash in Tibet.
Okay. Never heard of it.
Yeah, I think it's in the Himalayas. I'm sorry, I'm terrible at geography. I think it's one of the Himalayan mountains. But it's located in southwest Tibet, and its altitude is a little over 22,000 square foot. It's feet, not square feet. Man, I'm a mess this morning. It's 22,000 feet in altitude, and it is sacred for 4 different religions.
Okay.
And Buddhism, Hinduism, Jainism, and Bon. Have you ever heard of the last 2?
No.
Yeah, me neither. So Jainism is an ancient Indian religion that is centered on nonviolence. So, like, I think they're what you kind of think of as like the strict monks, like they're strict vegetarian. They live a life of like self-control and detachment from worldly things and like work on enlightenment and that sort of thing. And then Bon, I think I'm saying that correctly, Bon is the indigenous religion of Tibet, and it's animist and shamanic.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah, so they were like the religion before Buddhism came in.
Okay.
So Mount Kailash also has 4 faces, and 4 major Asian rivers originate there. So I thought that was interesting. I'm like, okay. It's a major area for pilgrimages, as you can imagine, because of all those religions holding it sacred. And most of the religions review it as the axis of the universe. It's like the connection between heaven and earth. And it's seen as not only a physical place, but a sacred bridge to higher dimensions and spiritual enlightenment.
I mean, I can see why that would be, even without like going into all of the things that you're about to go into, just based on having the 4 different religions that view this as a sacred place and having 4 sides that we know can correlate to, I mean, for each of the religions, maybe something different, but the 4 paths of like.
Right. Yeah, I thought that was so interesting. I'm like, okay, there's something to that, right? And then there's also 2 of the religions, and I think it was Hindu and Buddhist, or the languages, refer to it as some sort of jewel. Like the name that they call it is some sort of jewel. I think it was 2 of them. Mount Kailash's symmetrical, pyramid-like shape and alignment with sacred sites around the world have long fascinated scientists and geographers. The distance from Stonehenge in the UK to Mount Kailash is precisely 6,666 kilometers, which is also the distance to the North Pole from Mount Kailash. And, get this, the distance to the South Pole is 16,332 kilometers, which is exactly twice the distance to Stonehenge or the North Pole.
Oh, wow. So it's like in a, what's the word that I'm looking for? God, I can't think today. I can't think of the word that I'm looking for, but it seems very significant as far as like the placement of it and the exact location, and the correlation or connection of it to other well-known significant sites.
Yeah, and also supposedly it makes, like, if you draw a line from Stonehenge, the Great Pyramids, Mount Kailash, and there's another one, I can't remember which one, but they make like a grid around the earth. So very
That's
interesting. Yeah. And we'll kind of come back to that. So in Hinduism, Mount Kailash is where Lord Shiva lives.
Okay.
And he's up there meditating in eternal bliss.
That sounds so nice.
Right? Buddhists and Hindus see the mountain as Mount Meru, which is the spiritual axis of the world. So in their religion, Mount Meru is the spiritual axis of the world, and they believe that Mount Kailash is this. Mm-hmm. So in Buddhism, it is also related to Milarepa. I should have looked this up. Milarepa, who meditated in the caves around the mountain. And Milarepa is a famous yogi and one of the founders of the Black Hat School of Tibetan Buddhism. And Milarepa also was fighting with the Bon religion master Nero Bonchong near Mount Kailash. And supposedly, there are still many sites with the signs of the battle there. And also, according to Buddhists, the peak of Kailash is home to Buddha Demchok.
So there's a lot of the mythology connected to this specific site across these religions.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Which I guess they're not really close to each other either. They're like in geography from like the beginning, like I guess they are. They're close enough. Mm-hmm. We're talking like Tibetan Buddhism and Indian Hinduism. I guess they're close enough, but still not like that close, I feel like.
Yeah.
Especially for ancient times. So Jains called the mountain Astapada. According to the Jain beliefs, the first prophet achieved enlightenment in the Kailash region. And in the Bon religion, its founder, Shanrab, descended from heaven onto Kailash. And Kailash was at the center of the Bon Empire in the early history of Tibet.
That's interesting.
Yeah. So no matter which religion we're talking about there, which of the four, they all make pilgrimages the base for spiritual transformation. Mm-hmm. And it's also known as a Kora, this pilgrimages. And what the pilgrims try to do is they walk the 52-kilometer trek around the base of the mountain. Most of the religions go clockwise, except the Bons go counterclockwise.
Oh.
I don't know why, but that's the deal. It's believed that if you successfully finish the Kora, it will cleanse you of all your sins and bring spiritual merit.
So I would imagine then that people were probably doing this. Like, yes, it's a significant thing. And when you think, or at least when I think of pilgrimages to significant spiritual sites, it's not something that happens all of the time. It's not something that many people can do, like, every 6 months or something.
Right.
But this could be like a major reset for people or a major cleansing for people to engage in.
Kind of like more on the worldly side. Apparently, any other religion or country can go with any tour company to go to the mountain. But if you're from India, you can only use specific Indian run travel companies.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I thought that was just interesting. It's like, okay. Like, it's actually like you can't get, like, they get special passports to do this, and they won't get a passport if they don't have it with specific. And if you're Indian and you know about this, please like chime in and correct me if that's wrong, but that's what I read. So Mount Kailash is one of the few major peaks in the world that has never been climbed.
Oh.
And it's not because you would think that it's really not that high in comparison to like Everest and some of these other Himalayan mountains, but it's because of its profound spiritual significance. And in 2001, China officially banned all climbers.
Okay.
I did hear a myth that I think it was like 4 or 5 people tried to climb it. And I think they got halfway down and some died on the mountain. And then within like 2 weeks, everybody else died.
Mm-hmm.
And so it was thought that like don't go on the mountain because the gods don't like it, and it's like a curse of the gods. So
I can't imagine that in all of this time that nobody has ever tried to climb it. So I would definitely believe that people have tried and maybe haven't had, success in whatever way, or that there was some sort of consequence to that.
especially if you think, I mean, Everest and is it Kilimanjaro? What's the other one? There's another one that's really famous out there that have been
Mm-hmm.
climbed, and it is regularly people try to
Yeah.
climb it, and then this one's just not even as tall, and it's not even supposedly not even as treacherous.
Mm-hmm.
Mount Kailash is known for four distinct faces. Like I said, it has like the four sides, and each face faces one of the cardinal directions: north, south, east, and west.
Mm-hmm.
And according to the Puranas, I'm sure I did not say that right, Puranas, the ancient sacred text of the Hindus and the Jains, each face is believed to be made of a different precise jewel. The north face is made of gold, the south face of lapis lazuli, the east face is of crystal, and the west face is of ruby.
Hmm.
They also each symbolize different emotions and qualities. So the south face is majesty and splendor. And also on the southern face, you can see a natural formation that resembles the Om symbol.
Mm.
And the west face symbolizes compassion and benevolence, representing spiritual purity and detachment. The east face is associated with mystery and nurturing, reflecting the approachable and benevolent aspects of the divine. And then the north face represents divine strength and authority.
So I'm sure that you're gonna get to this at some point, or maybe you're gonna get to this, but I'm wondering if then when they're doing their travel around the base, if there's also maybe not like a requirement, but the space for people to do rituals or to give offerings or to receive messages or whatever, depending on what it is that they're looking for.
Yeah, I actually didn't see anything about that, but I do know that there are like different temples around the area and like sacred sites. So I'm sure some of those are associated with that.
Right.
There's also, what side is it? Yeah, so in the remote southwest aspect, Mount Kailash has the face resembling Lord Shiva, and it's been seen by NASA scientists.
Mm.
So I thought that was really cool.
Yeah.
Another interesting fact is there have been recorded phenomenon of faster aging when you're in the field of the mountain.
Oh.
It has actually been recorded that if you're there for just 12 hours straight, your hair and nails grow as much as they would in 2 weeks. Nobody knows why.
Okay. That reminds me of what we talked about with the pyramids and how but it was like more stabilization. Like nothing can, you're in the desert and plants aren't necessarily growing, but then when you get plants to the site of the pyramids, you can see that they do grow.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a more stable magnetic field or something.
Didn't you also say that like there was like stasis as far as things didn't necessarily die?
Yes,
Like they didn't grow like the same rate that they were supposed to?
Yeah, like if you like people have left things inside or at certain sites of the pyramids, things that would naturally like rot or something, and they wouldn't. Not that they never did, but it would take longer for them to. So there was just a much more of a stabilization there. And what you're talking about here at Mount Kailash sounds more of like a progression of.
Yeah, like kind of the opposite.
Yeah.
So it's interesting.
Yeah.
So another aspect that adds to the spiritual significance of the mountains are there's 2 lakes. I forget, they're either at the base or they're like near it or like up into it. And it's Lake Manasarovar and Lake Rakshastal. and they're referred to as the yin and yang lakes. So Lake Manasarovar is fresh water, and it's revered in Hinduism and Buddhism, and it's believed to have created from the thoughts of the gods. And then and it's got full of life, like it's got like normal flora and fauna type stuff, fish and stuff. Lake Rakshastal is a saltwater lake, and it's associated with demonic entities, and there's nothing growing in it.
Okay.
And supposedly the one that's freshwater is shaped like the sun, and one that is the saltwater is shaped like the moon.
So they're very much the opposite in every way.
Mm-hmm. And they are not far. I saw a picture of it from like a satellite. They're not far from each other. Like they're literally like twin lakes.
Mm-hmm.
And you can't see where they're fed from.
Mm.
So it's like, why is one saltwater and one freshwater?
Yeah.
It's very interesting.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought that was like, and one of the rituals that you do when you get to the freshwater, and I just don't want to keep butchering the names. The freshwater one is that you bathe in it, and it's like one of the rituals to kind of get spiritual cleansing.
I wonder if there's an aspect of these lakes where the saltwater lake is like pulling the impurities from the freshwater lake. Like, I'm just totally making this up, but I feel like it would make sense that that's something that could happen, where if they're that close together and you don't know where they're being fed from, could one be kind of filtering for the other?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm. Yeah, I'm sure there's something underneath the ground that we can't see, and it's quite possible. I mean, that makes sense. Mm-hmm. But yeah, nobody really knows. I mean, I'm sure maybe somebody doesn't, but maybe they don't. I don't know. So there's a lot of weird like mythology about this. And so in Western Tibet, it's like the only peak you can see.
Oh.
There are no other mountains nearby that are as large.
Yeah, see, it doesn't make sense that nobody would ever try to.
Mm-hmm. I'm looking at a picture right now. It's actually, it's just like, it's right there.
Yeah.
So this is interesting. So Mount Kailash there's like a myth and or thought process that it's actually a man-made pyramid. So scientists believe that it's the peak is not a natural formation, but a man-made vacuum pyramid.
Hey friends, we just wanted to take a moment to remind you all that you can interact with us on social media. We can be found at Curious Mystics Podcast on all platforms.
And if you haven't already, please take a moment to like, subscribe, and share so that we can keep showing up for you guys with new weekly episodes and content. Thank you for hanging out with us so far, and stay curious.
I'm just trying to like imagine in what scenario that would be, and it wouldn't have been recorded or passed down or discussed in any way.
Agreed. Yeah. So it's surrounded by more than 100 smaller pyramids, and these pyramids are estimated between 100 and 1,800 meters tall. And they're surpassing even the most famous Egyptian pyramids, which are 146 meters high. I guess so. Russian scientists argue that it's a perfect symmetry and a resemblance of a cathedral, along with its unnaturally steep sides, suggest intentional design similar to a pyramid. It has not been confirmed.
Okay.
So I guess some scientists looked at it and said, this doesn't make sense. It's too symmetrical. It's like with the 4 rivers. Like, it doesn't make sense. Yeah. But at the end of the day, it's so big and at the top of this mountain, and it's so symmetrical to it. I just don't know how would that even be possible?
I'm curious to know what the different religions and and people that view this site as sacred, what they believe the origin story of this site is. Yeah, I'm gonna leave it there because I feel like, is it possible that, you know, there was some recorded incident that, you know, the record or the history of it got destroyed somewhere? Sure. Or that the verbal passing down of how it was created got lost along the way? Sure. But if those things happened, if it was like lost somewhere, there is some understanding of how it came to be.
Right.
And if we could figure that out, if we knew what people believed about it, it might help to like point in a direction, especially when you think about, and this is like a side thing, not really related, but there are so many different cultures that have creation stories of certain areas of the world that involve some major like traumatic flooding event or, you know, like some major weather event that kind of created these places, and then they mix them into their own mythology. And yeah, I'd be interested to know what the people think and not just what the scientists think.
Yeah, and I thought it was weird coming from scientists making this theory. It just, to me, that sounds fascinating. I didn't look into this as much as I probably could, but the other thing is like, okay, oh, but nobody's actually climbed it. So never mind. I was gonna say, well, couldn't you just go up there and like, you know, take a piece of it and carbon date it or whatever and compare it? But I guess nobody's not up there, so I don't know. To be determined, to be continued. There's also one of the other things is the snow cap on Mount Kailash is always unmelted. It's perpetually an unmelted snow cap.
Okay.
So despite its location in a region where temperatures get very extreme, the crown of it remains pristine. Well, wait, I'm confused. So this says perpetually unmelted, and this says pristine white snow. Right.
It's not melted. It's always.
Okay, yeah, sorry.
Perfectly.
Dude, my brain this morning. Okay. Yeah. So even though there's extremes of weather, like lots of wind and it gets cold, it gets hot, it's always white snow.
Which, I mean, I don't know that much about mountains, but really big mountains typically have a snow cap, right? Like, it's just the higher up you go, the colder it is. And
I don't know if that means, like, because of where it is and, like, how high it is, it should melt at times.
Maybe.
Or, like, maybe parts of it should be melted and some parts aren't.
Yeah.
It's also associated with the mythical city of Shambhala, which is similar to like Shangri-La and like those type of places, paradise, Eden. Like it's like known as, in all mythologies, it's known as something different, but it's all the same place, and people think this is part of it. Like this part of this area is part of those myths.
Okay. Do they all, I don't know if you know this, do they all have like a similar understanding of what the purpose of this location is in those places?
So I don't know that it's like this particular area, but the myths of those, if I can remember correctly, especially like Shangri-La, is that you end up walking into this area and you end up in Shangri-La. So it's like kind of this mythical place that you end up in. And so this is like one of those places that like you end up into this like mythical paradise.
Okay, so going back to like the connection between like heaven and earth, or Shangri-La and wherever you would access it, like Narnia.
Yeah, so it's like, yeah, exactly. It's like, it just kind of like, it's, you walk through and then you're on this like little mythical region.
Interesting.
You can also see Om symbols on the surfaces, and also the swastika symbol, which in ancient times was a sacred symbol, and then only after the Nazis took it over did it become bad. But it used to be an actually like good symbol. So yeah, so Mount Kailash, guys.
It sounds like so much like mystery and so many options for connection and spirituality and growth and possibility, but like so much unknown too.
Yeah. It was interesting. The whole thing about it possibly being man-made, that just like threw me. I was like, and it's not people saying, "Oh, no, like the, you know, like not people, it's scientists saying that." To me, that just like blew my mind. So,
yeah, I don't know. I just feel like sometimes scientists, right, they throw out a hypothesis and then they have to test it, but there's no way of testing this.
no.
They don't have an evidence for this, so they're just like, oh, here's a thought.
Yeah. Well, so the Egyptian pyramids are three-sided, correct? And then the Mayan pyramids are square, right? Four-sided. And then this one's four-sided. So, and I just find that interesting that across a lot of other countries and religions, there's these pyramids, slightly shaped different, but they're all essentially the same thing. And I find that interesting.
Yeah. And I think that kind of like goes back to what we had talked about before. I feel like it was probably in one of the solstice episodes. How people across the world living completely different types of lives and having completely different types of beliefs all had similar or related practices or things that were familiar to one another, even if the meaning of it or how it came about or what the details of it were different.
Which I think speaks to the fact that there's something out there.
Oh yeah, definitely.
You know?
I mean, if there wasn't, we wouldn't be doing this.
Truth. I feel like we just, what was the end? There's the ending of a Believe It or Not. I feel like that was just the ending of a Believe It or Not TV show. Something's out there.
Yeah.
Believe it or not. On that vein, stay
curious.
Bye.